All right. Welcome in, everyone. I'm going to be starting the live analysis pretty soon. Just going to be waiting a little bit longer for people to hop in, everyone. Going to be okay.
Over the course of the next year. Well, I think the government support has been unprecedented. Equally unprecedented is the hit that hospitality has taken. So we do need the government to look at a solution on rents. Well, I think the government support has been unprecedented. Recovery, a recapitalisation strategy to tackle the levels of debt that these businesses are going to come out of the pandemic with. So this government support, fantastic,
Hello,
has allowed us to
Marianne,
maintain the large number of
Ryan,
staff that we
welcome
would have
in.
undoubtedly lost along the way had we
I'm
not
looking
had
at the
furlough.
chat, so
But
you guys
furlough
can
actually is costing the businesses to implement at the
message
moment,
in there.
and the costs of staying closed. The industry is burning through £500 million a month in ongoing costs.
Interesting. So, by the way, this is the first time I'm doing the webinar style for this live analysis. Previously, we were doing where it was meeting style. There was no registration for the meeting. With this webinar, there is the registration, so it's a different style. So I'm getting familiar with it, but I think so far from what I'm seeing, you guys are messaging, and I think it's only me receiving it. Like Ruben just sent a message. Diana, welcome in. Javier, welcome in. So I'm seeing you guys' messages, but I'm not sure if everyone else can see you guys' messages as well. So, oh, okay. So everyone can see each other's messages. Is that correct? Like, for example, Anna just messaged, Jose just messaged, Marian, Diana, Brian. Awesome. Cool. Welcome in, Anthony. All right, so we are about to get started here. Today with this webinar, it was a little last minute, and I know as far as the timing goes, it's pretty late too. 11 p.m. Pacific Standard, that's pretty late my time, and then there's some people in here that are Eastern time, or so it's a pretty late time, which was actually something that I wanted to test out with this webinar feature as well. There's this poll area, and I'm about to launch it now. So let me know how you guys can see this poll area. I just launched it right now. I see 2 people have voted so far. Awesome. Does this just like cover you guys' screen, or is it just showing up like small on your screen? Or can you guys explain what you guys see? This is fairly new to me, so this is just wanted to kind of get an idea. It covers it. Is it like full covered? Small corner of the screen. Someone said full. Okay. Someone else said full cover. Gotcha. Okay. So for the most part, everyone's guessing full covering of the screen there. All right, now hopefully these votes are real though. Yeah, I'm seeing most people in here prefer 7 or sorry 7 people voted 11 p.m. Pacific Standard. Jay Abraham, you said 80% of the screen. Appreciate that. About the same size as a chat bar. Okay. So far I'm seeing most people voted for this time, 11 p.m. Some people for 9 p.m. Pacific Standard, which is like 2 hours earlier than this time. 2 people for 7 p.m. Now, I know this is probably like it's kind of like a voting for people showing up at 11 p.m. So maybe this might be something that works for you guys. I know there's other people as well, so I might be doing some sort of poll like within the community and seeing what time works best, because maybe it might not be 7, maybe it not be 11, but it will be like 9 p.m. So just gonna figure out what times would be best for everyone in general, and so we can have more people on here. Obviously, at these times, it's a little difficult for certain people. Maybe some people wake up early and they have to go to work, but before going to work, they probably trade like the New York session. So it varies off of each person here. Jared, you want to put 11? Okay. So I'm guessing it doesn't let you unvote. Is that correct?
Looks to be the biggest beat in core CPI in at least 10 years. I am double checking to find out exactly.
Okay.
Back it goes, but certainly that's the biggest beat.
All right. Not a problem at all.
So I think it's a very, very large inflation beat. That's the kind of
goes away once you submit. Awesome. Appreciate the feedback, you guys. This is awesome. You know, with the webinar feature, I'm debating on even increasing it as well. Starting off now with it's like 100 members that can be within one session, and then after that, increasing that amount. So yeah, you're gonna see how this plays out. And I did start doing like the registrations literally like a couple hours ago, so it makes sense for not many people to show up for this one, but for the next ones or following ones, there's going to be more people attending, more questions and answers, which leads me to my next point here. Then I'll be starting the live analysis. I'm actually going to end the poll now. I see there's 9 there. Okay. It says that I can share results. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but maybe you guys might be able to see the poll results now. So yeah, we're seeing most so far most people have picked the 11 p.m., which I had already shared. Okay, so now there's an area that that's labeled Q&A. Inside of the Q&A area, if you guys can like write any question in there, just any random thing, maybe even something currency pair that you want me to cover today. Within there, just any questions. If okay, so like Abraham said XAU USD. I'm pretty sure everyone can't see this. It says I can type the answer live. So Antonio Castillo, you said Euro NZD inside the question. So I guess in this area, it's more questions rather than like requesting currency pairs or things like that. But I can like select one. So pretty sure you guys can't see the the questions just yet until I like select whichever one I want to answer. So let's say like Samir, you mentioned, can you look at pairs and CAD pairs? So I'm going to answer live. And then it says, can you look at CAD pairs, please? And I think you guys can see the question too. Is that correct? Perfect. All right, awesome. All right, cool. So I guess it marked that one off as like I answered it type of thing. But yeah, we'll be looking at the CAD pairs. Since there's major news, of course there is, which is awesome that you pointed that out, because those were certain things that I was going to be checking out today. If any of you are new in here, you might not know exactly what I'm going to be covering today, or not understand too much on the live analysis side. So this portion with live analysis, I'm not really doing training, but I'm going to be doing training tomorrow. So there's going to be the two sessions. This one's more me looking at charts, seeing what I can see for potential setups, which many people have made money through this. And just because I say there's a trade to be placed doesn't mean that you have to place it. It just means you want to do your analysis, figure out if you want to actually get in. But me with some experience, I've seen that has helped some people out there. So so tomorrow we'll be doing the live training, and I believe I haven't committed a time just yet. We're going to be discussing tomorrow what time would be best, but I'm thinking it might be around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think about 7 p.m. How does 7 p.m. work for tomorrow?
Even if it might not come now, and therefore the downside, there's much lower potential there. But the market is flatter. That means two things. It means
7 p.m. Pacific Standard. Okay, awesome.
But on the flip side, it does mean the potential
Perfect. Yeah.
for the market to really start trending.
This is like a time that's not too late, or even like people in the Eastern time. I have lots of members within Market Masters that's part of like New York and Florida area. We also have like California, so we don't want to make it too early, but we don't want to make it too late. So that's why I think 7 p.m. would be a decent time where you're not too tired as well, because it's going to be people that are it's going to be a training portion, so you want to make sure that you're fully focused during these times. By the way, I see some people are putting the response to the question inside the questions area. So make sure the questions area is more for like if you want to ask a question, and then the chat area is more for like responding to me type of thing. So like Marianne, you said for tomorrow's training we will log on to here. Good question. So I'm thinking we are going to do the webinar style. It's something that I'm still trying to get used to, and just with this, like the chat area and the question and answer area, it's something that I might take off the question and answer area just because it can be confusing. So I might just keep just a chat area open and no question and answer, and maybe answer questions off the chat. But I think the question and answer area, I think that's pretty useful if there's a lot more people in here, where there will be lots of questions and I just go through a couple of them instead of everyone. Awesome. Appreciate the feedback on the EchoFin. Yeah, I invested on that platform just because it was a really good trading platform for everyone. Okay, so all right, so we are about to get started here. Don't want to take too long, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here in the first place and testing some things out with me. I know that was probably unexpected tonight, but yeah, it's a new feature that I'm trying out here. So, all right, let's get started with the live analysis. Getting into what who was it? It was Samir. Samir mentioned about the CAD news later tonight. So there is high impact on CAD. This is going to be at the New York session. So it's actually early morning for me. CAD, we have medium impact and then high impact all at 5:30. Then we have high impact at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, FOMC. So these are going to be important areas. So basically the USD, the CAD I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at some NZD, but this is why I like doing the live analysis on Tuesday, by the way, is because usually Sunday, Monday, it's kind of slow. And then Tuesday, it starts picking up with high impact. Wednesday as well, high impact news. And then getting into like Friday, a lot more dead for the market. Well, unless it's NFP. Okay, so we are going to look at CAD pairs and let's get started here. You guys have any questions? Let's try out the question and answer area. I'll be looking at some of them in there. Okay, so CAD pairs, we'll do, why not USD CAD, since there's going to be two major pairs in there. Major news happening. So as far as a USD, by the way, USD is actually something that I've been looking at for more of a bullish move overall on the USD currency. One way to look at what's happening with the US currency is by looking at the DXY. DXY is the index for the USD, and at the moment right now it's at this major support area where price is expected to hit here and then go into or push the opposite way. If you can see, like previously over here, price dropped into this area and then went up. So right here, it's hitting like double support. And also see, as far as the trend is going, it is on a downtrend, but it's somewhat weaker in this area here. So usually when it's weak, it doesn't really do lower lows and start going into a downtrend. This is when it starts doing its reversal. So just looking in, if you see what's happening here with the DXY, it's pretty much showing exactly what's happening with USD CAD. Because USD has 80% of the market's volatility, it's that's how it's controlling most of like USD CAD. And someone asked, is this live? Yes, this is live and recorded. I actually did a recording on YouTube. So pretty sure after this, it's going to be posted on YouTube. Oh, I see. There's actually like a person that messaged on YouTube. First time doing like cross live, but yeah, it is live and recorded. Okay, so someone else said, so will gold will sell if DXY goes in the uptrend? Good question. So with gold,
will you be looking for a couple of members
XAU
to go
USD.
2023? Will that be
Oops.
all important? What's
XAU
the implications for
US.
dot plot for you?
It's very significant at this point in time because if we
XAU
see
USD.
those
Yeah, so as far as gold goes, I think well, if you see the currency specifically, like XAU and then USD is the quoted currency, so it's the one at the end. The USD is the back currency, which is called the quote. There's a base, which is XAU, and then the quote is USD. So USD is at the end. So if USD is getting stronger, then XAU USD will be going down, kind of like the exact opposite. So if I zoom in here, it's kind of like doing the opposite of what like USD CAD is doing. It's just a little different because it's against the gold. But USD does have lots of power and lots of movement that it can that it impacts the market. So that's why I mainly look for what's happening with the USD, if it's going to be going up or down, because it affects multiple pairs. For example, if I look at USD CHF right now, USD CHF, based off of looking at the DXY and saying that it's expected to go up, USD CHF, so USD is the first pair, or the first currency, and then the second currency is the CHF, USD CHF. So USD CHF should be also showing something similar like this, going into from a downtrend to an uptrend. Let's check out USD CHF. So from a downtrend, expected to go into an uptrend. Actually, with USD CHF, I do notice as far as price action goes, it is like in a downtrend, but we see it's doing like was based off daily. Expected to do like higher low into like higher highs, just off of looking at the price action there. Rustam, you said is price action. I'm not too sure with your question there. And so someone said, or Anna, you mentioned what to look for on Bloomberg News. Bloomberg News is kind of, this is something that I use kind of for trading in the zone. It's something to get me in that trading mentality. Also, there might be certain key things that I'll hear within the news, and then I'll just, I don't base my trades off of what's happening with the news. It kind of has like a bit of an impact, but I mainly look at the price action of what's happening on the charts. Hey, Ilyas, what's happening? Okay, let's see. Ricky, what's the best strategy for a beginner trader who's been trading for under 2 years? Come tomorrow to that training, Abraham, and we'll be getting into some like basic strategies, but that's also advanced. You'll see within the training how I go through that process, but it's going to be really eye-opening in how I do my trading. This one won't be teaching. I'm just kind of discussing a bit on what I see, but yeah, with back into the live analysis here. So USD CHF, this is expected to be like a higher low area. Just looking at fibs here, didn't drop into the 78.6 yet, so it's still on a good trend. So if it starts reversing here, which I do notice strong divergence while it's in this area here, expecting for price to reverse. So zooming in, seeing if we can spot anything. As far as the price action goes, it's definitely in a area here where it's not breaking the support, kind of the same as DX, the DXY, it's kind of in an area that's not breaking through.
Mackenzie Scott gave away another
Erase
$2.7
these.
billion to a variety of charities, bringing her giving so far to $8.5 billion. Scott, who holds a 4% stake in Amazon following her divorce from
Okay.
Jeff Bezos, wrote in a blog post that she is shedding, quote, a fortune that was enabled by systems in need of change. She added that it would be better if disproportionate wealth were not
All right.
concentrated in a small number of hands. Global news 24 hours a day, on air and on Bloomberg Quick Take, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts.
So,
more than 120
as of now,
Simone, thank you very much. Simone Foxman there with an update from Doha. Now, coming up on this program, Citi joins JP Morgan in warning on a hit to trading
checking
revenue.
another thing here.
Are we through the pandemic?
Okay. So as of now, USD CHF, I would definitely hold off a little bit on, just because there is a chance of price going up into this area and then coming back down and doing somewhat of like a bigger triple bottom to then start going into the uptrend after that. So it's right in the middle area. So the middle area is not such a good area. Unless I notice more of like a smaller term trade, which would be more of like something like this maybe, where if it goes up and then back down, then I would be looking somewhere in this area to buy, just based off of like higher low area. But as of now, it's not good. Just what price is showing me choppy in this area, not so nice. So this one's definitely not on the watch list. I don't have that one. I am looking at some other ones. USD CAD right now, we're going to be going through. I actually had the buy stop placed in this area. So right now it's an active trade, expected to hit this high over here. Just off of what I see with the breakout here, the distance from this neckline area to this bottom here is what it's expected to go up. So that's where it's kind of why my take profits in this area here. Did a breakout, kind of like doing its retest right here, and then continuing the uptrend. Also did what's called a flag pattern here. If you don't know what it is, you can quickly research that, but it's a big spike, consolidation, and then big spike again. It's pretty common that you see flag patterns during breakouts. Now, as far as, let's drop the price a bit more here.
Investment banking revenues are likely to be down in the low to
so everything's still looking nice for buys here. Expecting USD CAD to go up. Yeah, I'm active inside of this trade, so it's not something that trying to see if there's like a re-entry location if any of you haven't gotten in. Yeah, I think it will definitely push up, and then probably with USD news might push down. We're going to kind of see the other USDs, see what's happening there, because since there's going to be high impact on USD and CAD, you kind of have to see like what the CAD pairs are showing and what the USD pairs are showing. This is kind of how you start understanding the different currency pairs and what's expected to happen. So I'm going to be looking at all different CAD pairs and then all USD pairs. I already kind of know about the USD and what's happening. CAD, haven't been looking too much into it, but we will see different ones now. Let's do CAD JPY. I erase all my analysis so you guys can see everything from scratch.
These executives, both at Citi and JP Morgan, have warned that loan growth is going to look weak because stimulus and really cash hoarding has allowed people not having to take out more loans.
All right.
Danny, there was another blow to some of the major banks' trading revenue this week when the EU barred 10 banks from their bond sales. What's going on there, and how much will this hurt revenues?
Well, look at that.
So it's really a who's
I didn't
who of
see
the
this,
banks. You have JP Morgan and Citi again, but Bank of America,
but it is currently
a few others as well
at the
that
point
spread
where
across
we
the
needed to
globe.
be at.
And the EU is saying to these banks, look, you've had past
Ooh,
transgressions.
so we are definitely
But
looking at a
listen,
strong
we
sell
have
area
already
right here.
taken the steps to remedy these issues. So these banks now need to submit proof
Strong
to the commission that they have
double
done that. Now,
resistance,
until
really strong
they
sell.
get approval from the
Divergence
commission to
here.
come back into the fold, they can't
Yeah,
participate in these huge
I'm
bond
definitely going to be
issues.
looking
Effective
to
valuation
sell this
billion
for
euros this year that we're expecting.
CAD
But
news.
listen,
So
this is a
5:30
big
a.m.
chunk of European
Pacific
revenue that
Standard.
we're going to be missing out on.
CAD
Thanks
is,
very much, Danny Berger, with the latest on the banking sector. Coming up, we're back to geopolitics.
yeah,
Presidents Biden and Putin
we might be seeing a
set
strong
to
sell
reveal
during
the agenda, cyber attacks,
during
arms control, and plenty beyond.
the
A
New
deep
York
dive
session.
into the expectations for the summit next. This is Bloomberg.
Now, even though if it is on an uptrend, we can still catch it. We can still catch it for a sell for the downtrend. Okay, so gonna zoom in. Zoom in, still daily showing divergence there. All right. Now, I'm not sure if I know I noticed some new names in here. Some people from previously, but if you remember from a previous live analysis that I've done, there is something that I cover over, which is it's off of the trading cheat sheets. I'll actually go through it real quick because I know this is pretty important. I want you guys to see this. I know I didn't really want to make this training, but it's just a little bit on the training portion that I'll be covering here. So there is the 6 million trading cheat sheets, and so I want to say it's the first one here. Okay, let's see if I can get this on the Chrome browser. There we go. So there's this section here, and it is right here. Okay, so there's the public participation, and then there's the excess, and then into a downtrend. Maybe some of you remember this from a certain session. If you recall, like, let me know in the chat area. But basically, there's accumulation part, public participation, then excess, and then a pretty big downtrend that happens after that. If you look at CAD JPY, it's kind of doing that. So this is like the consolidation area. Then it starts going into a trend here. So it's like a slight uptrend right here, and then after that is a stronger uptrend like that, looking exactly like what it looks like here. And then after the strong uptrend, that's when it starts like doing the strong reversal coming down. So gonna zoom in and see if there's anything that can tell me to get in earlier. Okay, so as of now, let me delete this. By the way, I'll be discussing about this tomorrow, this point specifically. It's considered the third point of this downtrend.
But broadly speaking, the direction of travel over the last few months Well, going back to the autumn of last year, seems to have been broadly, with a couple of hiccups, broadly positive.
Downtrend on the bigger time frame, obviously. Because it's a strong uptrend on the
I think it's
smaller
amazing
time frame.
how
So
strong the recent trend in oil prices
let's
has been
see.
with so little commentary. So we're seeing oil prices up at the highest level since 2018, and within spitting distance of breaking that 605.
All right, at the moment, I am seeing
It's really, really impressive how strong it's been. And yet
did
we're
do a
still
triple top up
freezing
here.
elsewhere.
It
This
already
morning we've been
did its
talking about the
breakout, did
movement out of
did
China,
its
which obviously
thing,
been where the volatility is.
or did the
But oil is
distance.
still the most important commodity in the world. I know we're moving to a greener world, but it's a very slow long-term thing.
That
At the
distance
moment,
is already
the
met,
world still
so
thrives and needs energy.
that's no longer valid. But
Consumption need
what I
oil
do
prices
see
to
kind of in
So
a
there's two extra things going to drive
bigger
this.
sort of
One
sense
is
here.
we're seeing the spread between WTI and Brent crude narrow significantly. And Goldman have come out and said, you know, that may be an indicator that really US is a leading
Someone asked
indicator
what
for
signals
global
for
demand,
tomorrow.
and therefore that
So
implies that the demand signals
still
will be
looking.
very much a bullish
That's
kind
what
of oil
analysis is for.
driver. Another thing is the time spreads.
I am
The
keeping my eyes on
US
certain
Six-month
things, but
contract is being bid up
still
more
I
over
can't
near
tell
term.
until I
There's the idea that
do
there's a real
analysis.
demand need right now. People want it in the US. They want oil right now. The recovery is going really well from
All right,
2018.
so
Now, longer term, I am
as
not
far as
sure
this
if this
drop that
sustainable
is
here, given
expected,
that we might get a trade deal at some point, that supply come on the market,
actually
given
check
that we
one
know
other
that
thing
OPEC
here.
Plus has the potential to increase supply, and also the shale market
Okay.
in the US has been very, very restrained in increasing supply, but they do have the potential to significantly increase supply, and their rig count has been
All right,
creeping up. So I think that might be a factor.
down to the 4 hour.
Here above $70 for long. So overall, though, this oil price after the Fed today,
Nice.
Fed drives the
Okay,
news in the short term.
so
But once we move beyond the Fed, the biggest driver of yields in the next few weeks,
although it
will
did
probably be
higher
oil.
lows over
And
here,
since
we're
last year,
expecting
it has
that
been one of the best indicators for where 10-year
this area
yields
to
are going.
be
And they're
the
saying,
right shoulder
analysts are saying, 10-year yields need to be a lot higher unless the Fed surprises.
right here.
And just as you were
This
talking
right
about
shoulder
that,
area
I wanted to
aligns
go
with
over
the
what
left
the
side
final
over
said
here.
benchmark, so maybe somebody is listening, but we'll certainly keep an eye then on not just
When
OPEC
price breaks
Plus
through,
and the Iran
which
blockade,
is
but also what those shale companies do.
somewhere around the
And these are
0%
actually
area,
also
that's
what
confirming that
this
it's
focus on
dropping
ESG
down.
does to investments
That
in the
is
sector
confirming
in
the
the
sell right
medium
here.
term, and what that
Sell
means
down to about
as we try to transition away, getting the timing right between investing in oil and
89
transitioning away from oil.
89011.
Could be a really interesting one to watch.
Look at the 1 hour, see if we can spot
Let's get a Bloomberg Business Flash.
anything
Here's
else
Simone
here.
Folksman with an update on some of the top corporate stories we're covering today. Here's Simone.
Thanks, Anna. First to real estate. Blackstone is nearing an agreement to acquire Soho
Okay.
China in what would be its
So
biggest real estate investment in Asia's largest economy.
I do
This,
think
according to
during
those familiar with the matter,
the
the private
London,
equity firm could announce
we're going
a
to see how
$3 billion
price
deal
reacts
as soon
off
as
this
this
area
week.
here. I'm going to be looking at JPY as well,
American Express plans to have most
but I'm going to
US
see
and
like
UK employees work in the office Tuesday
JPY
and Thursday, with a permanent work from
against the
home option
CAD.
for
It might be
Mondays and
bringing price
Fridays. The
down
firm will invite more staff back
around
on September
here,
2nd,
and that's about like
with plans
6-7
to
hours
back
for
on
that entire
schedule
move.
the week of October 4th.
And then maybe CAD might push it up. So
Google won a deal to
going to be
provide
looking
search
at
engine
both
research
sessions.
giant
The first
Alphabet
15
with
minutes of each
cloud-based
session is very
analysis and
important to
search.
see which
This is a personalized experience
what type of
for its
push it's
customers,
doing. Looking at the 1 hour here, I do kind of see like lower lows here. This is a high. Need to make sure that it doesn't break above here. If it breaks above here, then we're definitely not selling. If it starts pushing down, then we could sell. It would be like an early sell. But the better area is seeing what happens here if it breaks through. Most likely it is, just based off of what I'm seeing on bigger time frame. It's most likely going to drop pretty big in this area here. We're already seeing lower highs, so if it drops below here, then it should be doing like lower lows, lower highs going into the downtrend there. Now this is a high of this uptrend on the daily, but that's just one part that I don't like too much. I want to see that price breaks through in this area and then starts going towards the downtrend there. They're going to be waiting patiently on that. There will be some signals posted for sure on this one. I'm going to be keeping a close eye, and then once I see something, just I'll let you all know. Can buy crypto with credit cards? Yes, you can.
That is a structure from the 18th century and gives it, I guess, a certain level of grandeur.
Okay, so that's that. Let's look at now these other currency pairs I'm going to be analyzing. I'm going to make it kind of quicker, not take too long on them.
Give us the backstory on their relationship.
If you guys have any questions, just put it down, or anything specifically that you want me to analyze. And I've seen Euro, NZD, USD, JPY. I'll be looking at USD JPY right now, actually. USD JPY is the next one here, just because I was looking at CAD JPY. So gonna see how like the CAD and the USD is, which one is, if it's showing kind of the same thing. So yeah, this area right here, I was buying in this area just because it's a third area there. Gonna erase everything is a little messy. Sometimes I get a little messy. All right.
Right, and as you mentioned earlier too, Yusuf, there have been some really important developments come out of these meetings in the past, in decades gone past. Expectations might be different this time.
Let's see if there's
meeting them with Putin being perceived back in the US.
else here.
Well, that's a tricky one because the reality is that the Republicans have criticized the president for going abroad. They have made it clear that the priority should be domestic. There's a lot of work to do in terms of fostering a nascent economic recovery after the COVID-19 impact. There are difficulties at the border with Mexico, and so they're going to be keen to score any political points. So not only does Mr. Biden have to deal with public with Mr. Putin in terms of sort of global diplomacy, but also ramifications back home.
I'm noticing as this is going up, it's not really showing what it's expected to on the RSI here, which is basically showing prices getting weaker there. See some questions here. Abraham, you said gold looks like double bottom, W on 15. Will news affect gold for London or New York? So I'm thinking it's going to be more for the New York session that gold is going to be affected for all of the USD pairs. So you should be expecting more on the New York session there. All right, so as of now, USD JPY is an area where it's at a strong resistance, and looking at the price, it's not that strong of an uptrend in this area where it's kind of doing like higher highs and higher lows. It's like a very weak trend at the moment. So looking more in.
We're now in the early stages of a sustainability revolution. The battery problem may biggest unsolved problem in all of technology. Every time the United States
so
done great transformative things, there's been a partnership.
We do see lower low on this side.
With a willing partner to ensure competitiveness, and
I'll point out where I see that lower low there.
The objective for Glasgow, first and foremost, is to keep that 1.5.
This area here, and then this area here. Now, it's somewhat doing like a left head. Potentially, this is the right shoulder right there.
In the world, for private sector to pay for all of this, it's going to have to be a public.
I don't like that it got into the weak area, 78.6, 88.6 area. So that means it's not on a strong downtrend, but it's also not on a strong uptrend. Like this one's not so nice of a trade right here. Let's see, might be able to get something for more of a scalping type of thing. Let's see. So it's at the support. if we were to get into something like this, and this is more scalping, scalping at the moment, it is trapped in this area consolidation.
The US and EU have taken another step.
So for something like this,
to confront the threat from China's ambitions to build an aircraft sector on non-practices.
I would say getting in for the sale and then getting in to about 61.8 once it drops into this area here. So it would be breaking that 200. See 1 hour. 1 hour definitely has a divergence there. That point, and then it would have already broken the support on the trend line. It's a good area too because there's resistance on this side here. Just playing like support once it breaks through. So it's going to look and see. Right now it's already engulfing, pushing down.
I think that with respect to China, we will continue to do business.
Yeah, 61.8 is around that S2 area. So I want to say there's probably going to be a more of like a quicker scalping sell signal right here, aiming for for about 100, 120, and then we'll be having like take profit too as well, aiming for even lower targets just because it already broke that uptrend. So this will most likely be aiming even lower to the 50% for S3. I do like when Fibonacci matches up with these lines here, like 38.2 with S4, 50% with S3, 61.8 with S2. So that's good there. And basically this is like early entry before the entire move. I'm expecting overall, and this will take a while for this to do this, but looking from far away, I'm expecting for this to drop. Now I'm not going to sell here and like hold a trade all the way, but when it starts getting into these areas, this is going to be like my sell zone. Always looking for sells in these areas, no buys all the way until it hits the lows down here.
So, like everything as relates to China, the administration
but I've seen this over and over again where it sometimes takes a while to complete it and then start going into the downtrend. So I'm already expecting for it to drop down. Actually, let me see. USD.
Investing in America, growing our own economy, maintaining our competitive technological edge, and as we start
USD JPY. Okay. So DXY showing me it's going up.
Speaking exclusively with Bloomberg's David Weston. We're getting some movement coming through on Chinese equity markets. They've been sluggish through the earlier part of the day, but that continues to be a theme.
Yeah, I think it's because of CAD's weak, which is why prices the USD stronger. JPY is reacting a bit different, and it's at this this area here. So yeah, just going to be looking at what's going to happen there. All right, so someone had mentioned GU. By the way, going to be ending this live session at closer to midnight Pacific Standard, just because the London opens at that time, and I want to make sure that I'm active, like super focused within those first 15 minutes. I am going to keep this one open here for sure to see what happens there for a potential trade. Okay, so other pair to look at, let's see. Someone mentioned GBP/USD. Has to do with USD.
And on the other side of this, the government will release reserves essentially of
So
metals such as
GBP/USD has actually been pretty choppy lately, but I am expecting it to drop down to this this low. It dropped down pretty close. Dropped down pretty close and then wicked off this area. Still expecting for this to continue to drop down. So it's going to come up, do like a lower high area, and then just continue going into a bigger drop.
We haven't seen that link yet. The producers are mostly soaking up these costs, but nonetheless, this is the first time we've had a pretty fair step by the government now to intervene in the market and try and take at least some of that pressure, some of that supply pressure off the factories.
Good afternoon, and we have a slew of China data.
Inside of this, GBP/USD also has a strong resistance here, right where it's rejecting off of. So divergence as well. Expecting for price to drop.
The broad story is expected to be one of an ongoing recovery.
So just going to be looking at what happens there. Once I start seeing some more impact on the USD, I'll be able to see more in like which directions it's going towards. So later during the New York session, we'll be able to find that out. Let's look at some more CAD pairs though. Do CAD CHF.
Shift in spending from goods. Chinese consumers have been spending on goods, but are they going to be buying more?
Race my analysis here.
This goes to the global theme of what kind of a consumer will eventually emerge out of the crisis. Remember, in China, the virus has been under control now for well over a year.
Okay, so with CAD JPY, we were expecting for this to drop. With what I'm seeing with CAD CHF, divergence, and it's not breaking this area.
So I think the key out of today's numbers will be retail sales.
Potentially going to start pushing down. Let's look a little more into this.
Yeah, that's interesting, and so we'll look for that transition from goods to services then for the Chinese consumer when it comes to the
hitting like it was once support, now resistance here.
The month-on-month number getting the same treatment in the US for retail sales just in yesterday's session. Enza, thanks very much. Enza Curran, Bloomberg's Chief Asia Economics Correspondent. Let's take a look at some of the things that we're going to be watching out for today.
Okay, so basically this entire area is like this area to look for as like resistance all over.
So that's certainly worth focusing on. At 1:30 p.m. we will have some data from the United States, including housing starts.
The monthly shows us.
Along with the important export price indexes. The big event stateside, of course, this evening will be the FOMC.
Okay.
It will publish its rate decision, followed by a press conference with Fed Chair Jay Powell. So lots to focus on in terms of US data and that.
Shop the price a bit more, get a strong support here.
In Geneva, where President Joe Biden, he's going to be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin for the first in-person session since Biden took office, 10 years since they last met. We were hearing from our colleague Yusuf Gamal Eldin. Let's get a Bloomberg First Word News update. Here's Simone Foxman.
Thanks, Anna. The two largest.
And so since we are expecting for this to drop, we have
Governor Andrew Cuomo has lifted the state's
lower lows here.
Saying 70% of the adult population has been given at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. And California has lifted its capacity limits to social distancing.
So what I can see potentially happening right now with CAD CHF, it's at this low here. This low here, it's most likely going to be pushing up into this area here. Maybe even more towards this side. And then continue to push down. I'm going to zoom in, see if I notice anything else.
If disproportionate wealth were not concentrated in a small number of hands. Israel has launched airstrikes on Gaza, saying it acted in response to incendiary balloons
Yeah,
sent
it's
across the border from the Hamas
kind of like
violence comes
just all over the
days
place
after
in this area, but
this is Israel's prime minister.
it'd be more
Today,
focused
Benjamin
on
Netanyahu
selling
12 days in power.
in this area here.
Last month killed at least 243 people in Gaza and 12
Just because
wounded.
we want to buy the or sell the lows, sell the lows on a downtrend as it's going down. If we sell here, we'd be selling the low on the downtrend. We want to sell the highs on the downtrend. Selling the highs and then aiming even lower down to these lows over here. But just being patient, waiting to see what happens. CAD JPY is also something we have to be patient for to break out here. So both CAD CHF, CAD JPY expected to drop. Okay, so any other pairs you guys want me to analyze? By the way, I did this this private GBP/NZD one. You guys saw like how high this one had went up to 2,000 micropips. I think GBP/NZD still has some opportunity to continue rising into some more highs. Okay. So to answer your question, when you trade, do you use fundamental analysis? So I use a bit on the fundamentals, but more on like when the impact happens to see what type of reaction it does. So either like an uptrend or a downtrend, but not just the reaction. Seeing if it breaks key levels that I'm expected for it to break. So for example, for CAD JPY, if I see right when news hits, like if price is all the way down here and then news hits and then the price breaks through, when price breaks through, that's kind of confirming that the news is going to push the price all the way down to where I'm expected for it to hit. So that's where I would mix the fundamentals with technicals. Okay. All right. So I was going to check out.
That's right, Anna. Well, SAP is likely to move down, particularly in sympathy with Oracle. Oracle fell yesterday.
CAD.
Their earnings. They didn't meet investor expectations when
Looked at USD CAD.
Sales, and their forecast for profits didn't meet expectations either.
GBP CAD.
To have a similar fall to that company. SolarPack also likely to see a big jump today. A small company, but it's being bought by EQT for a 45% premium. So EQT almost buying
Okay.
here of what
As you can see, like the analysis I have here, I'll just keep it. It's currently at this resistance area. It's actually at the buy area now. Price above R1. Perfect. This one's more of a long-term trade. If you do want to get into it, take profit 1 at 172,650. Take profit 2 at 173,750. I do think with GBP CAD, it's expected to go up. Same thing with like GBP NZD. All these GBP pairs, they're pretty strong on the GBP. GBP USD was showing some strength.
Certainly my bias. I will say that I've read a few kind of reports from various analysts in the last 24 hours that make me think that there still is potential for a little bit of a dovish surprise.
So
the argument that we only think the surprise can be one way, and therefore, if they are just absolutely resolutely dovish, then we might see yields.
Now, the only thing is
But it won't be a big move if we get that.
the London opens in 2 minutes. So I'm going to be looking at the reaction right there. I do have to be getting off pretty soon just so I can look at everything all within my multiple monitors. But yeah, going to be looking at some GBPs for tonight, mainly during the New York session. So expect New York session for signals to be called, and possibly during the London, depending on certain reactions. Any last minute questions? I do have 2 minutes before we end this session. No questions so far, or maybe you guys are typing, but I did want to mention I appreciate each of you for showing up here. I know it's pretty late. It was like a last minute webinar. Hope you guys got some sort of value through this process. But yes, indicators show up tomorrow. Most likely we're going to be doing it at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be talking about certain things that I use tomorrow, getting more into tactics. Within this live analysis, I don't really go over the tactics as much. Tomorrow there's going to be more on that training thing, and even from tomorrow's session should help you understand the market much better, so then you can start finding these trades yourself. Yeah, but let's see tomorrow. I hope to see you guys there, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard. That's most likely going to be final. I'm going to confirm with everyone, see if it works for everyone, and then we'll be doing that session tomorrow. All right, so it is London session now, and we will want to buy GBP CAD. Okay, you guys have a good night, and we'll speak to you guys later. Appreciate you guys, and let's message inside the Golden Circle. We'll be on there communicating. See you guys.